Hello, I'm Kathy Hexter. I'm the director of the Center for Civic Education here at the Levin College, and I'm here today with our guest, Jerome Ringo, president of the Apollo Alliance, and we are talking about the renewable energy economy. Welcome, Jerome.
Thank you. Glad to be here, Kathy.
Do you want to just give us a couple sentences about the Apollo Alliance?
Well, the Apollo Alliance is an alliance and a coalition of labor, environmental organizations, the faith community, business community, civil rights community that have come together with one common goal, and that is for America to be able to declare its energy independence in 10 years. And declare that in the energy independence with obvious benefits, being that through the research and development of alternative energy, we will create new jobs for America and also reduce the amount of carbon dioxide to the atmosphere, thus cleaning up the environment.
Well, I was reading your bio, and you certainly have an interesting background in both environmental, energy, and union issues. And I think those are certainly issues that we're looking at here in Northeast Ohio, especially as we look to the future and think about what we want our cities to look like. And I'm just wondering what you think, global warming, climate change, and all of this transformation in both the energy industry and unions, what impact do you think that's going to have on the economy of our cities?
Well, I think global warming, the issue itself, has been a wake-up call for most Americans. But when you look at other issues like high gas prices, the war in Iraq, the hurricanes, I'm an evacuee of Hurricane Rita. I live on the coast of Louisiana, and I experienced Katrina as well, and as well Hurricane Wilma while on a visit to Florida. The American people and within cities realize that there is a sense of urgency with respect to these issues. But we cannot stop global warming with a magic wand. It requires real action that can have economic benefits. When we talk about reducing our dependency on fossil fuel and not being so one-dimensional to where our energy sources is oil, we must diversify our energy portfolio to where it becomes inclusive of other energy sources like wind energy, solar energy, hybrid cars, biofuels. We have a wide array of new opportunities that are going to create new jobs for the American community, thus stimulating our economy. I think it's a win-win-win-win, the whole solution to global warming that we must take full advantage of.
Well, I think, as we look around Northeast Ohio, we can identify a number of industries that would be part of a renewable energy or an advanced energy industry.
Sure.
And I'm just, one of the advantages certainly is good paying jobs and possibly even, union jobs. And I'm just, Cleveland is struggling with poverty issues, with very high vacancy rates in our housing stock, and yet we have a lot of infrastructure in place. And I'm just wondering, do you think cities like Cleveland are poised to take advantage of these opportunities, or?
Absolutely, and there are cities that are taking advantage of it already. But Cleveland and cities in Ohio are uniquely equipped to take advantage of it. When you talk about industries that have shut down in the past, industries that produce products and byproducts in the petrochemical industry or in the auto industry that have now shut down, you have people that have the basic training already with respect to the technologies associated with energy or with car building or car production. Now these same people can be retrained to do green jobs. When you talk about wind energy, you talk about wind turbines. Somebody's got to build those turbines. Somebody's got to supply the parts of those turbines. Somebody has to install those turbines, and someone has to maintain those turbines. Those are jobs for people in Ohio. When you talk about building equipment like solar panels, someone has to produce the parts that's needed for these panels, not only in the production but in the maintenance of them. You have factories that are shut down in Ohio that can be retrofitted for these green job opportunities, and most important, you have people who are willing to work, who have the basic training, And for those that do not have the basic training, that would be job opportunities and training opportunities created for them to get them trained to bring them into this new green workforce. So Ohio is uniquely positioned with rivers that run through your state, with policymakers who are interested in this issue. I understand your governor has taken some action toward greening Ohio. That's a very positive thing that I can't say is happening in all states across this country. So Ohio is in a very unique position and is in a very good position to move these initiatives forward.
When you look at other cities, across the country, obviously you travel a lot. What cities would you say are the leaders in this?
Well, you look at Seattle, Washington, you look at Pittsburgh, state of Pennsylvania, for example, passed a renewable fuel standard, which I understand Ohio is considering passing as well. Pennsylvania passed a standard that said that 18% of all energy produced in Pennsylvania will be alternative energy. There was a company in Spain called Gamesa that heard about this initiative in Pennsylvania and said, we're going to move our national headquarters to Pennsylvania to satisfy that need for that 18% renewable energy. Gamesa brought with them 1,000 new jobs for Pennsylvania. Once a renewable portfolio standard is passed in Ohio, you're going to have companies that are going to want to move here to satisfy that need for that percentage of alternative energy. And as I understand it, that standard is moving forward here in Ohio. That's a win-win for Ohio. But then you have labor unions in this state that are already established, that many of their members are out of work, that can reinvigorate training programs within their unions. No need to reinvent the wheel. These labor unions are already properly equipped to train people and to organize people in communities from all walks of life around being part of that workforce. We have the resources here, we have the energy here, we have the innovation here, we have universities like Cleveland State University that are producing young minds that can go out and be the leaders of tomorrow with respect to new green energy. So you have all the elements in place to make a perfect situation for the state of Ohio and provide energy resources and supply energy needs throughout the country from right here in this state.
Let's shift gears a little bit, and as you think about these trends, and especially global warming and climate change, what impact do you see that having sort of on the shape of cities and on the quality of life for people who are living in cities like Cleveland?
Well, when it comes to Cleveland, Cleveland is a bit different. 52% of the American population lives within 100 miles of the coast or within 100 miles of a major waterway. You all have the Great Lakes up here. When we see climate change and the impacts of climate change, we're seeing major effects on water, on our water resources. The people of New Orleans became the first climate refugees. I myself was a climate refugee when I was evacuated from Louisiana as a result of Hurricane Katrina. Now, of course, the global warming did not cause the storms, but global warming contributed to the intensity of the storms. So we saw Category 4 and 5 storms that we have never seen before back to back. It has changed because 240,000 homes were destroyed along the coast, and now over 100,000 people have not returned to New Orleans. Cleveland has, and cities in Ohio have similar challenges because now we're seeing climatic variations even in the Great Lakes areas. We just experienced the coldest April in the last 100 years in the United States. And now we're going to see more climatic variations as the carbon dioxide increases to the atmosphere, which are going to have a direct impact on sea level rise and on communities that live close to large lake and Great Lake areas. We also have, because of the high unemployment in these areas with the auto industry and those companies that support the auto industry with building parts and what have you, they're out of work now. We just have to support states like Ohio and cities like Cleveland to engage in real innovative ideas to be a part of that new green economy, to bring those jobs into this area, like cities similar to Seattle, Los Angeles are doing, Oakland, California are doing, Chicago, they're reaching out for the green jobs, Pittsburgh and Philadelphia, they're reaching out for the green jobs, and Ohio should surely be reaching for those jobs as well.
Okay. Okay, well, great. Thank you very much for taking the
Thank you.
time
Thank
to
you
talk
so
with
much.
us today, and thank you.
Thank you.